It's that time again. Welcome to the Steel City Roundtable, your home for real stories from real people, where everyone matters and all stories deserve to be told. Before we get down to the meat and potatoes of the show, we have to go over our legal disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Steel City Roundtable are for entertainment and informational purposes only. We are not professionals or affiliated with any professional organizations. If you are in crisis, dial 911 immediately and seek professional help. And here are your hosts. Hey guys, welcome back to the Steel City Roundtable. My name is Mark Kneebone. I am one of your hosts, and I'll be doing this show by myself. Oh wait, never mind. There's a hobbit next to me who I love to death.
Me.
My beautiful co-host. All jokes aside, Kells, how are you?
Oh, living the dream.
Yeah, what's been going on this week?
Nothing, fucking pharmaceutical companies.
Big
Psychiatrists.
Pharma. Big
yeah,
Pharma. Put that in a notebook for things to talk about down the road.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one of our subjects for sure. How
Well,
psychiatrists screw us over for money.
Yes,
Right.
yes. How's work? How's the relationship?
Relationship is doing well. Definitely met the parents. Super nice. Super nice. Yeah. Not bad.
God, I wish this was full of alcohol right now.
No. I didn't even need any alcohol. I didn't even need any liquid courage. They're just really genuinely nice people.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you got this relationship off on the right foot.
Yeah, like everything, we're moving real slow, and everything's just right in line. Like,
I can't wait for him to come down and hang out with us one day.
oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love him. You're gonna be
Good,
like, this
good.
dude is awesome. What's going on with my brother from another mother?
Well, another long week.
Yeah.
We had a holiday this week, so I had a couple short days at the end of the week, which is nice. Got episode 14 out on Spotify and YouTube, if you want to check it out. It's where I kind of piss and moan about law enforcement a little bit. That's going to be a steady theme here. But yeah, I went to church today.
Yeah.
Love to hear
Did you
that.
Get right with Jesus.
First time in over 25 years that I've gone to church just to go to church.
Praise the Lord.
I mean, I bought this today. The church has these bands that say, Jesus saves yins.
I like that.
Yeah, I went to a place called the Grace Life Church. They have two campuses, one in McKnight Road and one out in Monroeville.
Okay.
And I went with a very important person to me, who
Yes.
you both know. And I tell you what, I got in there and I was all closed off. Sitting there with my arms folded, just kind of being like, whatever. And then this is like a new modern church, right? So it's like music and a band and a stage and lights and cameras everywhere and, streaming live on the internet. And I'm just sitting there like, initially I'm like, is this a church or is this a reality show?
Right.
Because the churches I went to when I was a kid were very sterile. They were the pews and sit down and dress up, and I wore a shirt. I wore this shirt in there. And there's people wearing like whatever they want. Nobody was dressed up. It was really laid back. But then I started thinking about Kenny.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like I'm in a church right now. One of my best friends dies, and I'm in this church, and I don't feel like I belong right now because I don't accept formal religion, and I don't really accept prayer and worship at this
Yeah.
point in my life. But by the time I was done, I took a mental note. I was opened up. I was sitting back. I was relaxed, and I was actually listening to the sermon, and it literally spoke to me that it was like I needed to be there today.
Yeah.
I mean, the service was basically about everything in your life is small things to God.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the small things. Everything else is small. Your faith is big.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it kind of spoke to me because I'm sitting there like, I've been blaming God about Kenny.
Yeah. Me too.
And then
Hardcore.
you missed it last week. Dr. Casey Phillips of 5 Points Chiropractic was in here, and he reminded me that the devil was always at work. And I started thinking maybe I got to stop blaming God and start blaming who's at hand,
Yeah.
and that's evil.
Yeah.
It's the devil. The devil took Kenny, but God has him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was enlightening because I hate church. I didn't want to go, but I promised this person I would go, and I'll go again.
Good.
I mean, I'm not saying next week or the week after that. No, John, I'm not saved yet, so shut up.
No, hey, listen, it doesn't matter. Little steps at a time, man.
John's like, I'm gonna get you in that river.
But yeah, it was think big, change. I think the one thing the minister was talking about is we have to change our mind because our mind is like a rudder for our brain. It directs thoughts to our mouth, and then our mouth puts those thoughts into action.
Correct.
So we have to change our mindset in order to change the way we think and speak.
Yes.
Heart and the
So-
mind above, or heart and the brain above all things are deceptive. Remember that.
Yeah, I'll get to that when I read page 1. One of these days, I have the Recovery Bible. I'm going to read that at some point. They have a Bible.
Really?
I'll show it to you. I got it in Recovery. It's called the Recovery Bible.
That's cool.
It's an edition. It's got like explanations down. It's like split in the page. It's got explanations down the side. So you can read it and kind of get like how it relates to AA and shit like that. It's pretty cool. I'll show it to you when we're done. But yeah, that was it, man. Church was cool. I think I'm going to start going more because now that I'm in the mindset where I can appreciate what's going on and I can understand what's being said and not just be fucking angry all the time. So yeah, it was a pretty good thing for me.
I'm glad you're at that point. I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? I spent 49 years of my life being angry and bitter and upset and living in fear and being comfortably uncomfortable and all the bullshit that goes along with addiction. And it's like, I've changed one big part of my life, right? We have changed one big part of our lives, but still there's another part of our lives that we have to work on. And I'm not saying I'm saved. By no means am I saved. Am I going to take everything everybody shoves down my throat and say that's exactly what happened? No. I'm a logical person. I'm going to think things through, and whatever makes sense to me, I'm going to accept.
Sure.
But it's a step in the right direction.
I agree with that 100%. When I get to that point, we can have this conversation and you'll be like, I'm so proud of you.
Well,
like, I'm so proud of you, but like,
I think next Sunday you should go with us if I get done with work on time.
I'll think about it.
You should think about it.
I'll think about it.
I need somebody else here who's got doubts
Listen,
to be with me.
Bobby hasn't gotten me to church yet. And my dude is very Christian.
He took you to
very
a church.
saved.
He took you to a church.
We're not going to get into that.
The church of sin.
We need Jesus here, guys.
All right, let's actually talk about something
the Lord.
important now. So we had this idea. We want to address the 12 steps of AA and NA over the next 12 episodes where Kelly and I are by ourselves. So in between the episodes with guests, we're going to cover one step at a time.
Yep.
And, you know, what do they call it? Spoiler alert. It's not going to be the way AA does things. It's not going to be the way NA does things. It's going to be about our experiences, how we dealt with it, what our path was through the 12 steps. We're going to talk about us because that's our favorite topic.
I mean, yeah, we're real good at talking about us.
Yeah. So, John, why don't you bring up that illustration real quick? So, folks, John's pulling up a picture. It is going to compare the 12 steps of NA and the 12 steps of AA, and they're basically exactly the same. The only major difference is in the NA, they substitute alcohol with addiction.
Yep.
So, you know, the first step is admitted that I'm powerless against alcohol and my life has become unmanageable. As you can see with NA, it is I am powerless over my addiction and my life has become unmanageable. So they're the same thing.
Yep.
Okay, so addiction, alcoholism, it doesn't matter, tomato, tomato, you know, up, down, whatever. Thanks for showing that, John. So step one, I am powerless over alcohol or addiction and my life has become unmanageable. What does that mean?
To us.
Well, what does that mean in general? Like so the AA and NA, you know, what does that mean in the programs?
Well, in the programs, it means that you've now found the point where you need to seek help in the basest of terms. Like you found that point, you've hit that point, now you need help.
Well, I guess it's the first step in acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah,
Right.
okay.
So in my experience, when I finally admitted that I was alcoholic and I was powerless and my life was unmanageable was when I was about to kill myself or I had the thoughts of killing myself.
Yeah.
At that point, you know, maybe not that minute because, you know, the whole story's messed up, but
Right.
when I got up the next day and the first thing I did when I woke up crying on my floor was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, it is the first step in acceptance. It's the first step in admitting that you have the problem to other people. Because
Okay.
you always admit it, you have it. You always admitted you have a problem. Like I did. I always said, you know, I'm a drunk. I'm an alcoholic. I drink a lot, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm functioning.
This
I'm
is
surviving.
okay. Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, this is my life.
Everything's
and I
on
can do
fire. You know, that little meme, guys. Everything's on fire.
know the
It's a
exact
little
meme you're
dog.
talking
Yeah.
about.
This is okay.
Everything
fine.
is okay. Everything is fine.
It. Yeah, so, you know, I think I said it in an earlier episode. When I went to treatment, and you know, we didn't really work the steps in treatment. You know, we didn't go like, okay, you're going to do steps 1 through 12 in treatment. I did that shit when I got back. But I remember sitting there in my first clinical session, and I was like, you know, hey, my name's Mark. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm an alcoholic for 34 years. and it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. You know, the fact that I finally admitted it out loud put a stamp on it. It said, you are no longer hiding from this anymore. This is who you are. This is what you have to deal with. Do something about it. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't even start NA until well after, the technical difficulties, y'all.
I had to move my coffee, y'all.
I didn't want to interrupt.
John's over there having a fucking grandma seizure. He's like, move it, move it.
Get it, it's in the way. Get out of my shot.
This is live shit, right? This is what we do. Blooper reel 2024.
I know we're gonna have a blast with that one. No, whenever I first got clean, I wasn't going to NA.
I remember you did this all on your own.
I did it all on my own. So my first NA meeting wasn't until November of last year. So when I got that opportunity, you know, somebody put a reading in front of me. My very first meeting, somebody put a reading in front of me,
Trial
and
by fire.
I was
Trial
like,
by fire.
I looked at my girlfriend. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? And she was like, they'll say what reading it is. You just read it whenever.
Yeah, like the how it works and the 12 traditions.
Right. I think mine was the Just for Today, which was a nice, easy one, you know, like 3 or 4 lines. And the first thing they have you do is say, hi, I'm Kelly, I'm an addict.
Yeah.
And it is real, it's a real freeing, you know, I might have cried a little bit on my first meeting.
I remember a friend of mine who's very close that I took to a meeting once. And it was when he was still on the fence about what he was dealing with. And, you know, I'm like, listen, man, you know, his thing was not alcohol, but it was like, hey, listen, same shit. Most of the people in AA are drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
They just pick one over the other.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to you just introduce yourself by your name. You don't have to say anything. And I'm just sitting there. I'm wondering, like, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? What's he going to say? And then it comes around to him. And as soon as he said, my name is so-and-so, and I'm an alcoholic addict, tears came in his eyes. Because not only was it a open admission in front of other people, but he finally realized that inside himself that this was what he had to deal with.
Yeah.
He'd been hiding from it for a long time, and he finally came to terms with that monkey on his back and said, you know what, it's time to do something about it.
Yeah, it's an emotional release. You know, especially when you're in the shit and you're hiding it and you're maintaining this facade for everybody else to view it. Like, people had no idea how terrible I was. I mean, they're
my friends.
Yeah, no idea, no clue on how bad it was, what was happening behind closed doors. Like, I lived a charm life on Facebook.
2 of my friends, when I got back, when I told them that I was going to just call it quits completely, they were like, you never told us that.
Yeah.
You also didn't know that I was drinking, you know, a half gallon of booze every night because I hid it, you know. Like, so, you know, I knew about the 12 steps before I went into the program. You know, I didn't know what they were because the first time I dealt with them, I was like, bullshit.
I had never dealt with them, but somebody I love very much had mentioned them to me.
So when, you know, when I was going to the first meetings, like, I'm like, oh, God, I mean, I'm just going to fucking wing it. I'm going to fake it.
Right.
And it wasn't fake.
No.
It was, like, I think every time I say it, it is a reminder. It is a reminder of where I've been, where I am, and where I could end up again.
Oh, yeah. Next time, if there's a next time, which there's always the option to fall off. It always is there. It's always looming behind you. You know, every day you work toward with your sobriety. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pumped on, I think, Tuesday. What's the date today? Today's the 6th, right?
Sure, 7th.
7th? Tomorrow is my 8 months.
Congratulations.
So,
Awesome.
like, every day I'm, like, looking at my sober counter, and I'm like, yeah, I got
Stop
this
looking
much.
at the calendar.
I love it.
You know what day of the month it is.
I know what day of the month
Stop
it
looking
is.
at the
I know.
calendar and counting days. Counting days is one of the most ridiculous things you can do.
You know
in
what?
my opinion.
But for me, But for me, it's one day more triumph.
Why not just think of it as another day where I did the right things?
Because that's what you do. I don't do the right
Well, you
thing
should do
every
it the way
day.
I do it. The way I do it's
don't
right.
want to do it the way you do
See?
it. You're an
See?
alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. Fuck off.
This is why we do this, because, I honestly believe that counting days is no good for me.
Yeah.
Because I get that chip, I got that chip every month. And, every time I went to a meeting, it was affirmation. Every time I got a chip, it was affirmation. Every time I woke up, it was affirmation. So for me now, like, I don't even know how many days I have, because once I hit a year, I told myself it's day one.
Well, I haven't hit that year. I haven't hit
you
that
will.
magic number one, you know what I mean? Where I get the big number one on my cookie cake. Okay.
You get a gold watch.
Ooh, is it cheap?
Yeah, no,
Can I
you
turn
don't
it
get.
into a bomb?
Listen, what you do is you get that heavy metal 1 year key tag, or we got a heavy metal 1 year chip, and then you don't get chips anymore.
You know what's really funny? NA gives you a glow in the dark key tag.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see where you use that at.
Shove it straight up your ass.
But
That's what I'll do.
back
with
to
it.
step one.
All right.
Walk me through, how you got to step one. Like, what was the path that took place, your journey that led you to the point where you finally said, I am powerless and my life is a shit show?
Well, I didn't realize I was doing step one at the time.
Yeah, but
So
you do now.
I do now. I had to have a tooth pulled. And I had to have a root canal on my front tooth.
Your beaver teeth.
No, the one right next to it. I had to have a root canal on it. And they told me, eventually that tooth's going to turn gray. And one of my biggest things is somebody's smile. Like, it's the first thing I look at. I look at your teeth. I don't know why. Yeah.
Keep it together.
When I had to have the tooth pulled, I realized, like, it was like an eye-opening thing. At the time, I was just, doing everything I could to get those pain pills because I really was in pain that time. And then sat there and realized that the pain pills were the reason why I was in pain. So, I had to step back and take a look at this and say to myself, do I want to spend the rest of my life trying to get to a doctor to prescribe me pain pills? Or do I want to keep my teeth? Like right now I have to have a tooth pulled, and all I keep thinking is that I'm going to have to do ibuprofen 800s. Like, I'm going to have to. There's no way that I can take anything stronger than that. And that sucks, but I got myself to this point, so now I have to be strong in order to keep myself, out of the shit. But that's what really brought it to, like, I realized at that point that my health was now affected, and I was, once you lose your teeth, you lose your teeth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing. So, that's what did it for me. I knew it was out of control at that point.
Thinking back on it, what are your feelings? Like, how does it make you feel, like, remembering? Because it looked like you got deep into thought right there. Like, you were looking down. You weren't, you weren't Kelly.
No.
You were, like, in your head.
Well, yeah, because that was like a really eye-opening, profound moment for me, is that I knew at that point that I had a problem. Mm-hmm. I knew I needed to change my life course. I was terrified at what, like, that entailed, but I knew at that point that at that point I had to stop.
Yeah.
And it was a huge turning point, and it was a war within myself. And I'm not gonna lie, I was still doing drugs. I was still smoking weed. I was still drinking. I was still, I was still numbing the pain. But that was the point that I said, no more opiates, no more. So,
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, I mean, it's a, like I said, it's a, everybody looks at it differently, right? A lot of people think it's like admitting weakness or admitting failure. For me, admitting that I was an addict, alcoholic, whatever you want to call it, addiction is addiction. It was cathartic.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, now you can move forward.
Yeah.
Because all I've been doing is staying stagnant in that comfortably uncomfortable shithole fucking mindset where all I thought was with emotion and not with logic.
Yeah.
And when you take that first step, when you're willing to admit that you're powerless over this substance and you're willing to take responsibility for your own actions, to me, that is the first step of acceptance and growth.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much strength to admit that you have a problem. But then it takes so much more strength to do something about it.
Right.
So, in AA, they talk about, it's a big thing about the first step. A lot of programs, a lot of meetings, new people meetings, they're always focused on the first, second, and third steps because those are like action steps, right? Those are where things start happening.
Yeah.
Because there's action steps and then there's steps that aren't action. There's, I will be willing to do this is not an action step.
Right. Or I'm reflecting on this. Yes.
But admitting is an action.
Yes.
So, they want to focus on that with new people because a lot of people that are coming in there will say, like, I'm so-and-so and I drink a little bit too much, or I'm so-and-so, and they don't say addict or alcoholic. It's the stigma that you get from AA, what people think about in AA is, oh, well, why do they say they're an alcoholic every time they speak? Okay. Well, I'm the same way. Like, I don't feel that I should have to admit that I'm an alcoholic every time I want to speak in an AA meeting. It's like, hey, I'm Mark, an alcoholic. I was an alcoholic 5 minutes ago. I'm going to be an alcoholic 5 minutes from now. So, but I think as time went on, I realized that that's a way for the person to redo step one mentally every time they talk.
Yeah.
Like admitting that you're powerless is saying I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it's getting you in a pattern of thought where it says, okay, this is who I am. Got to do something about it. This is who I am. Got to do something about it. It's not like, hey, I'm Mark, and I'm just going to hide behind the shadows.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So step one, very important, right?
Right.
Did you have a sponsor at the time when you did step one, or were you still looking for one?
No. I have a sponsor now, but I don't use my sponsor the way I should. I don't call her the way I should. Like, I've really fallen off. Really the past month, really bad, falling off that. Like, not falling off the wagon, y'all. Like, I'm still clean and sober. Like, all this crazy is still clean and sober. But I just don't want. I don't want to go in there and them to tell me, he's not hurting anymore. You know what I mean? The generalized bullshit that they always, because there's nothing anybody can do. And when you go into these rooms, they make it clear that your path is yours, and that your future is yours, and that your work is yours. We're here to support you, but yours to work on. So they're not going to sit there and coddle me and be like, I'm so sorry for your loss, which is what I really, really want. But like, instead they're going to be like, he's not at hurting anymore. He's at peace now. He's this, he's that. And I don't
Saying
wanna
what
hear
they
it.
think you want to hear.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to go. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, and doing step one in front of a group, if you do step one and you admit it for the first time in a room, it's kind of eye-opening that there's so many people from so many walks of life that are suffering the same disease, and you can see it in their eyes when you admit it. Like when I admitted that I was an alcoholic in a meeting, like you could see it in their eyes, like, yeah, man, I know how you feel, bro. Like I can see you're struggling, and it was nice to. I think that's the best thing about step one. Like, honestly, to me, the best part about step one was having someone to accept me after I said it.
Yeah.
Like having a group of people there that understood how I felt and were there to help me through it. Help me through that moment, because I think a lot of us, we know that we're alcoholics and addicts for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like for months and months and months beforehand, I was like, I need to go to rehab, but
Yeah.
I need to go to rehab, but I don't want to lose my job, and I don't want people to look at me differently, and
What's
blah, blah, blah,
so-and-so
blah,
going to
blah, blah, blah.
say?
Yeah, exactly,
Blah,
right?
blah, 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 yeah.
And I was lucky enough that I had a company that took care of me, that was very good to me throughout my transition from being a drunk to being sober. Yeah, step one's pretty simple on paper, but it's very complex in nature.
It is.
Because it's going against everything your mind and body is telling you to think.
It is. It is. Yes.
So how did you fight through, the fear of admitting that you had a problem?
Well, here's the thing. I'm the type of person that I say what's on my mind any other time. Like, in my brain, it was, you don't say, Kelly.
I just met you.
But, like, I'm the type of person that's going to say what's on their mind any other time. So, like, to me, in my mind was, how is this different? The only difference here is you're asking for help.
Yeah.
So, you need help. You need help.
Yeah.
You need help. Ask for it. It's there. it's free. And that's what got me through it, you know. I was so nervous my first meeting. I was so nervous. I walked in there and I felt like everybody was staring at me.
All the stereotypes go with you.
Yeah, all the stereotypes. I thought I was going to walk in there and see a bunch of people with like no teeth, dirty. You know what I mean? And you don't. They're normal people. Normal people. Some people you'd look at and no way. No way you are on drugs. What? No. Yeah. And in that sense, it's kind of comforting that you're not alone.
Another cool thing I think about step one is that you're always doing step one.
Yeah.
Step one is like one of those steps that, first off, in my opinion, you do all 12 steps just by waking up and breathing. Like you're doing those steps without labeling them throughout the course of your day.
Yeah.
You're doing, like I say before, don't be a dickhead. Be nice to people. When you screw up, apologize. Try to make good decisions. Live a good life. Find something that you're spiritual about. Find your higher power. And I mean, that is what we do in a daily life if you're a normal person.
Right.
People wake up in the morning and they don't have to sit there and say I'm an addict, but they sit there and they're grateful for what they have.
Yeah.
Part of being an alcoholic is that you forget to be grateful for anything. There's nothing to be grateful for because you're in this black hole of fucking pain.
Yeah.
And now, I think it was like a week and a half after I got out of treatment, I got the dog tag necklace that I have that has a Serenity Prayer on it. And on the back it says, don't forget the struggles, you earn this, sober AF 5523, right? It's just for me.
Yeah.
But I look at that every morning when I get up in the mirror, before I go to work, before I do anything, and sit there and just go, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
I have a great life. All the things that are going on. I'm meeting good people every day. I just met a new person today that's, in the program and is working his way through transitioning into sobriety in the real world. If I was still drinking or if even I was just dry drunk and being angry, I couldn't help anybody. I couldn't go out of my way to try to help someone who's trying to adjust.
Right.
And if I try to, take back my first step, my life is over.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what I think is really cool about it is it literally is a constant step. And then a lot of the steps are, you're always doing them. But step one to me is probably the most profound when it comes to recovery.
Right. As a first time thing, as, recognizing that you have
It's
that
like your
problem.
first day at a new job.
It is.
Right?
It
Like
is.
you're nervous, you're scared, your palms are sweating, your balls are sweating, you got swamp ass. And
I
you
mean,
get in
I
there.
might have had swamp ass, but I don't know about the balls, y'all.
I hope not.
No,
We were
I mean,
talking about lady boners earlier. So
lady boners. That's another episode for another day, guys.
Yeah, but it's if I forget where I was and where I came from, and that I am powerless, and that alcohol runs my life if I let it, I'm right back there again.
Yeah.
So I think step one is by far next to step 12. When you get done with the steps, giving back, it's the most important step to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the one that I can mentally, consciously do every day.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of people in the programs that sit there and go like, oh, I 12-step myself today, I 10-step myself today, I 9-step myself today, I 4-step myself today. And I'm like, you do that without thinking about it.
Yeah.
If you're truly sober and truly in recovery and truly happy, you do that without thinking about it.
Sure.
Because you're making the next best decision.
Of course. Yes.
How do you feel about the way it's presented in your program, like the way the first step is presented in your program?
I mean, it's the same thing. It's, we don't really go over, there'll be just for today affirmations that are read, and every once in a while they'll come up and they'll say, today we're remembering our first step and what it took for us to get to our first step and why we're thankful that we got to our first step. And then you get the chance to reflect on it. I don't think anybody really sits there and thinks that they're doing it every day when they really are.
Yeah.
At this point, you're doing the damnedest to stay clean, and it just becomes ingrained in your day. So you don't actually sit back and say, oh, I'm doing my first step today. You're doing it subconsciously. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
And then whenever it's brought to your attention, hey, we should reflect on our first step today. Then you're like, hey, didn't I do that yesterday? And the day before that, and the day before that, and the day before that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like I don't sit there in the mirror and go, "Hey, I'm powerless against alcohol, and my life has become unmanageable." I look in the mirror, I look at myself, and go, "Hey, you're not an ass. Well, you're still an asshole."
I was gonna say, please
All right.
don't lie. Don't lie to the people.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected. But I hate you. I hate you with all the love in my heart. But I literally, like, when I do that, it's just, it's reminding myself, like, you're sober today.
Yeah.
You know, you were sober yesterday. You're sober today. You're better today than you were yesterday. You'll be better tomorrow than you are today. And it's just part of my routine that if I stop doing that, I know me, I get lazy.
Yeah.
You know, the first step, I have to continuously do that, you know, throughout my life. You know, it's like recovery. Like some people say they recovered. I'll never recover.
No.
I'll always be in recovery because I'm such an idiot. It will take nothing to get me to drink again. You know, so I have to, every day, they call it daily affirmations, you know, every day I have to remind myself, like, hey, dude, you can't drink, it'll kill you. That's saying you're powerless,
Yeah.
you know. And I think, you know, throughout the day, I just like am happy. You know, I'm happy that I get to do these things because I couldn't if I didn't do the first step, and if I didn't follow through after the first step.
Yeah.
So the first step is a groundbreaker.
Yeah. I mean, to some people, it might actually be easy. You know, hey, Mark, I have a problem. I'm an alcoholic and I have a problem. But tomorrow I'd have that drink because it's just one drink. It's just one drink. And that's the other thing with NA is that they believe that alcohol is just as much of a drug as anything else. So, you know, what do they say? It's a program of complete abstinence of all drugs and all alcohol. So, you know, there are people in the program that don't believe that, you know, that they think that, and here we go, me back on my soapbox, marijuana is a medicine. It is a medicine if it is used correctly. But, like, there are still people that don't believe that you're clean if you're smoking marijuana.
Once again, we are not promoting drug usage. We are
No.
promoting you doing all the due diligence and research to make sure that you do it legally if you need it medically. Otherwise, don't smoke weed. You're a dumbass.
Yeah, well, see, I'm going to just get a piece of paper, and every time I bring up smoking weed, I'm just going to hold it up to be a little sign that says disclaimer.
And we're gonna add that to our disclaimer.
Okay, yeah, add it to the
Kelly's
disclaimer.
not promoting the use of marijuana.
Period.
Period.
I'm not promoting the use of marijuana.
She is not.
I am not.
And she's also not promoting selling urine.
Yeah, I don't
Forgot
say
about
here.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember
that's
that
right.
one?
Yeah, forgot about that.
Jesus.
I mean, you know. Okay, no, I'm not.
Okay. Anyway, so I know I've noticed in the meetings, there's a lot of people that come in and they aren't really doing step one.
Yeah,
They're just saying the words
yeah,
because that person goes out 2 weeks later,
yeah.
or they go out a week later, or they go out a month later. You know, it's a great program, 100% great program. It is by far, next to my treatment center, the number one reason that I am still sober, because I have that group of people to go to. But you know, sometimes I just don't like listening to somebody when you can read right through it. You know, like when you did your first step, you were emotional. Like, you know, I was emotional. You know, people probably thought the same thing about us. Like, I don't think they're serious. And then 8 months later, you're still here. A year later, I'm still here. There's a lot of people that go to the programs thinking that the program by itself is the answer. And if you're not honest with yourself and you're not self-aware, it's not an answer.
Yeah, you got to put the work in.
I mean, it's a suggested plan of recovery.
Yeah.
Suggested plan of recovery. Although some people tell you it's the only way.
Yeah, there's a ton of people that
know?
will tell you it's the only way of recovery.
And everybody's recovery is different,
Yep,
right? So
addicts,
mine is a
coping
mixture of
addicts.
things. Yours is a mixture of things. I think the biggest part of my recovery, besides me reminding myself that I'm an alcoholic, is doing this every week.
Yeah.
Because this is a place where I get to be with somebody who understands me. John understands my mental health. You know, like, it's people that, it's probably the golden rule of recovery, is surround yourself with people that add to your recovery, that don't take away from your recovery.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm running out of things to say. You want to jump in and help me out here?
What do you want me to talk about?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we're all
You
talking
could
about it.
do
We're
that.
talking in circles.
John, you got any questions as a non-alcoholic about the first step? You want to
Dude,
bring it
put
up
him
and
on
read
the
it again?
spot.
You guys were super thorough.
Well, we are alcoholics and addicts,
Yeah.
so we do
Very,
understand
very
it.
thorough.
Yeah.
Okay, uncomfortable silence.
I'll hit that uncomfortable silence stage,
No, I mean, like I said, there's not a ton to say. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Everybody, this is one of our friends. His name is Mike.
yeah, Mike. Yeah.
Mike, why don't you get near the microphone so we can hear you?
No problem. I believe the statement you're looking for, because I heard this one, is that you are a product of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Oh,
Is
okay.
the statement, and it definitely it rings true to me. I do being just out of treatment, like I was telling you earlier, Mark, that I do have a great support system and around me, and they are successful, but they're positive people in my life. And so, if you hang around with rock bottom people, you may, if you hang around with rock bottom people, you probably are going to end up being a rock bottom person. So,
Well, you just fucked yourself, right? Everybody, this is Mike.
okay.
Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Nah, you're beat, brother.
You did it, bro. You did it.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
You don't have to give anything more than we already know your name. You don't have to give anything else out there. You just tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, first off, I'd like to just say thanks, Mark. Great meeting you today. But originally from the greater Pittsburgh area, I was with I just finished my 4th treatment, and
Congratulations, brother.
yeah. Taking some advice that I'm not trying to count days, because you're right that it shouldn't be a thing, because one day at a time. But I just finished that up. I was of the mindset about a year ago that I could just run from my problems, because I was with my beautiful, now separated wife out in Omaha, Nebraska, and that if I just ran back to be by family and friends here in Pittsburgh, that, none of my alcoholic problems or issues or anything would follow me, and, everything would just magically disappear. And guess what? It did not. So,
You know the one thing you can't leave behind, right?
go ahead.
Yourself. You can't run from you.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. So after I was just in a treatment facility in the fall of 2023, and then I just finished up in a treatment here now. And so one of the things is I'm doing things different, and I know that can be a lot of things people say. I'm actually doing it. I'm on a cravings drug right now to prevent cravings. Turn that down in the past because somebody's big ego got in the way that, I had this all figured out and I was going to do it my way. And, I went right back to, my cushy life, either in Omaha or when I came to Pittsburgh, had an apartment lined up. This time, I'm in a recovery house, and I've been there almost a week, and, it's wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience so far, how accepting that people are, and just to have that, backbone or structure. One of the things I lacked coming out of treatment the last couple of times is going back to a structure where I'd get complacent or wasn't doing like all the little things. And so hopefully, as I work my plan and whatnot, that the structure will take place, and that what becomes a task is just something I do every day.
So, real quick, folks, I met Mike at about 11:15 this morning. I had been turned to him through a friend of mine who told me that he had a friend that was going through the ringer right now and was going to be out soon. We had some lunch over on the north side, and, he came here and helped us out today a little bit. And now he's just hanging out. But so here's the next question for you, Mike. Have you done your first step, like legitimately done your first step with a sponsor?
I legitimately did with a sponsor my first step. I know I'm powerless over it. I realized that what it looked like to me was, physically admitting it, knowing every morning that I wake up that I've got a, constant battle with the bottle, and that I'm powerless over it. Everything goes to, crap. I could say other words, but
No, you can say fuck, shit, goddamn it, whatever.
okay, yeah.
Sorry,
Everything
Colin.
goes to shit when I drink. I'm the poster child of no, it can't happen to me. And within the last 14, 16 months, I've managed to sell a house, lose cars, wreck cars, lose a wife, puppy, everything. So yeah, and it's all because of booze.
So you're batting 1,000 right now.
I am on a huge winning streak right now. Huge winning
But,
streak.
but the thing is, you're here,
Yes.
right? You're here. You're sober today.
That's a win.
That's a win. You're sober for more than 30 days. That's a win.
It is.
You're doing everything you can in your power, right? You know, you've got your higher power, right?
Correct.
So since we're doing the first step today, what's your take on the first step? Like the importance of it, the significance of it, you know, besides being, you know, the first step.
So the importance to me is, again, and a lot of my stuff. And I don't know if you guys have ever gone through that. We may just as alcoholics may have humongous egos.
No, we all do.
Oh, no, we all do.
Okay, all right.
It can't be my fault.
Exactly, it's not my fault. But to check myself and to check my ego at the door, and just I was always so worried about, you know, what others thought of me, like what kind of job I had, how much money I made, this and that. And with alcohol, like using alcohol, you know, it all went away. And so what it means to me is that, you know, it's like the power I thought I had, I'm powerless because alcohol has taken everything away from me. So that's what it means to me to know, waking up every day, that it can be gone. It can all be gone.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and
that's
you're,
what
in
it
a,
means to
you're in a
me.
rough spot. You know, you're in a rough
Yeah.
spot right now because, you know, folks, three-quarter houses, they serve a great purpose, but they're not the easiest places to be. You know, you still live by someone else's rules.
Correct.
You still have regulations. You're still being monitored. Like, you're not out on your own, but it's a transition back to normal society is what they really are. They're meant to give you that smooth, as smooth as it can be, transition from a safe bubble in recovery, in rehab, to coming back into the world and being hit with all your problems, all your triggers, all the things that cause you to drink. But I mean, hey, listen, I'm glad you're here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you chiming in. But yeah, I mean, that's the first step, really.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, guys, you know, go to our social media, go to our email. If you have questions, let us know. We'll talk about anything. We need people to come and join us so we can keep this thing going. And I have kind of an announcement. I think
Are
Kelly,
you really a woman?
no.
I've been wondering that too.
Lady boners.
But listen, if anybody's not afraid of getting sued or having someone get offended, we are available to come talk to your organizations, or, you know, I'll talk to one person. You know, if you think that what we're doing can help someone, we are more than willing to come and, you know, speak.
Absolutely.
And we're not asking any money for it. This is our 12th step. This is part of us giving back to the programs that help save our lives.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can reach us at steelcityroundtable@gmail.com. Also, at the end of the show, our social media contacts will be up there. But seriously, no bullshit. If you don't mind a little bit of swearing and cursing, a little bit of joking, we're your people.
I was going to say, that's kind of like, you know, testifying in front of everybody anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this is the next step for us.
Yeah, the people that get up and they're like, you know, I've been clean and sober for 25 years. How'd you do that? And they get up and they start telling you how they did that. It is not sunshine and rainbows.
No.
It is not them tiptoeing through the tulips with that weird guy. Oh my God, did you? I heard.
Yeah,
What's his name? What's Tiny Tim? That's what it is. Oh my God, it's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah, he's
So
he's a
weird.
bit of a crazy
Dude, it could be
one.
minute by minute.
It really
It could
is.
be minute by minute, depending on the day.
Yeah.
You know, I like to say that all you have to do is outlive the demons. The demons only poke their head out for a short period of time. They stay as long as we allow them to stay in our head rent-free. So if we can, as that cognitive behavioral therapy, which I always boast about, is it going to kill me or hurt me? Is it going to kill or hurt anybody I care about? And is there anything I can do about it? Those demons go away. They go away when I go through that process. It may take a little while, but I've noticed now that it doesn't take me a day or 2 days or 3 days to get out of the funk.
Yeah.
You know, I still struggle with it, but I know that I have the power, I have the strength, I have the ability, and I have the desire and determination to kick that devil in the balls and tell him, not today, homie. This is my world. You don't belong in it.
That's right.
You know, and that's something that I think step one starts to shape your mindset. It starts to get you in that mindset where you know you can do it, because now you're no longer hiding behind that facade that you put on for everybody else. Like, I'm an alcoholic. I'm powerless over alcohol. My life was unmanageable. Now I'm Mark the alcoholic who has no power, but has the ability to make the best decision possible, because now I think with the right side of my brain and not the emotional side of my brain.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I got nothing else to say.
Me either.
John?
John boy.
SteelCityRoundtable@gmail.com. If you have any ideas, if you want to be on the show, or like Mark said, Mark and Kelly would be happy to talk to you guys. That'd be awesome. God bless. Have a great day.
Yeah, so treatment centers, wherever. You just reach out to us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. John, we're taking your mic away because you don't fucking use it.
I'll start talking more.
Please?
Yeah, right.
Please,
I
'cause
will.
this show would go on longer if you actually contributed once in a while.
Oh, he does find our banter amusing, at least. We do,
does.
every once in a while we hear, oh,
I have an important job back here of swiping through all of these cameras to make sure the camera is on them. When
He's got a very important job to do, so we love it when he's here. And he's a big part of our family. So once again, this is going to become a big thing for us. Kenny Finnegan, one of our dearest, one of the members of our podcast, he is gone but not forgotten.
ever.
So if you've lost somebody or if you have someone that's suffering, just remember that you are not alone. There's always someone there for you if you are willing to reach out for that help and take that hand. We will always be here if you want to contact us. But other than that, we love you, and till next time.